What I love about Ireland is that there are these places that can intrigue you for a long time. And one of those places is Skerries in North County Dublin. I have a fondness for North County Dublin from the time that I made my film Jacob Wrestled with the Angel, shot partly in Rush, Lusk, Donabate, St. Ida's of Portrane. Skerries has been something that's been on my list for a while, and I didn't even realise that these islands were of great significance until I went there, and I realised that there was a famous battle that is quite ambiguous when it's written down. It says that it is stated that a fierce battle was fought at the beginning of the 5th century at Knocknagin between the King of Leinster's troops and a formidable force of invaders which had landed at Skerries. The Irish were completely victorious and many thousands of the invaders were slain. In the Wikipedia article, reads a bit different. It says the start of the 2nd century, but this is actually on ducas.ie, what I just read out there, and I would prefer this one. It would mean that the start of the 5th century would likely been the King of Leinster, Bressil Balach, and the people that were probably the invaders were most likely Romanized Britons, because the end of the Roman Empire was nigh, and the Roman Empire were largely leaving the land of Britain then. And this was right before the time of Patrick as well, which is intriguing because later on Patrick would come and be named after him, St. Patrick's Island, but it used to be called something else, I think. The island of Colt, which is the closest to the shore, the low-lying uninhabited island off the headlands of Skerries, Shennick Island, and this is where the invading force would have landed and would have marched on Knocknagin where the battle was fought. You just don't hear much about this stuff. You never really hear of the actual battalions that came. Now, I'm not saying it was the Romans that came, but it was potentially Romanized Britons, at that point, because the Roman Empire had been in Britain as we know today. Shennick Island as well, meaning Fox Island, that's got a Martello tower on it, and this thing called the Steps of Destiny, I think it was something to do with cooking. Yeah, it was an old cooking grate, still intact, but the iron grate is heavily rusted. You have lovely folklore as well about St. Patrick's Foot as well on the shores of Skerries, and Skerries is just really beautiful. There's a Martello tower as well there, and on the way back I noticed Man of War. This is another small populated place in Fingal County. Man of War. Well, what other place in the world do you have names like that? Skerries, Shennick Island, Colt Island, St. Patrick's Island, Man of War. Absolutely wonderful. Love North County Dublin. Absolutely love it. And it's one of my favourite places in all of Ireland, if I'll be honest.